Okay guys, so what I am going to be showing you today is how to use URL to text from within inside Zapier. Now the first thing I should say here is if you are not familiar with URL to text, we are actually an easy to use tool and API that makes it very easy to scrape the web and just get the clean text that you are looking for. Now the first thing I am going to need to do here is I need to create a new Zap. So I'm going to click on the Create Zap button. And now, of course, I am going to need some kind of trigger for this. Obviously, you're going to have some other trigger that you already likely have set up in your head that you want to use. But for this, I do not have a trigger, so I am going to use the Zapier Chrome extension in order to kind of use a button to trigger it. Now, I do have the Zapier Chrome extension already set up in here, so this should be good to go. I am not gonna set up any input fields because I really just need this trigger in order to trigger the Zap. Okay, so now I am going to click continue. I will continue with the selected record. And now we are actually going to search for URL to text in here. There it is. We are currently in beta because the app was just approved. For the event that we are going to trigger, we're going to do the one that is called get text of URL. Now do I have some accounts in here? I don't believe so. So I need to add an account, which just means that I need to enter in my API key. So I've got a fresh new URL to text account over here. I am in the dashboard, and as you can see, my API access, my API key is not created. So I'm going to click on this box to do that. Keep in mind, I could also simply go to Team in the left-hand side nav bar and then go down to API key to get to the same area. Now I'm just going to click on Generate API Key, and my API key is generated. I am going to rotate it after this video is created, just so other people do not get access to it if they see this video. Now I am actually going to go back to that pop-up that occurred in Zapier, and I am just going to paste in my API key into here. So we will click yes, continue to URL to text. It's going to validate quickly that this is a working API key on the URL to text platform, and it looks like it has done that. So we are going to go back into here. And now we should see this account show up. There it is. And now I am just going to click continue. And now we're going to set up the options for our Zapier Zap. Now the output format, the URL I'm actually going to use here, I don't want to use the URL to text because that may get confusing. I'm going to type in, let's just do one of the names or the domains of one of our other products. I'll just do stammer.ai. The output format I want is text. I do want to extract just the main content with AI. What that will do is exactly what it says. It's going to use AI to attempt to extract only the main content of the page, leaving stuff like headers, footers, and all the junk that I do not want out of it. Now we do have the option to render JavaScript when doing this. I am just going to leave that as false. I don't need that for this. And then if you do enable render JavaScript, there is also an option to specify the wait time, the time to wait before scraping. This is to give JavaScript time to render and do all the stuff that it needs to do. But anyway, we're not going to set that for this. We're just going to keep that as 0. And then we are going to click continue. Okay, and we have all the details that we need in here. Now let's see if we can test this. Okay, and as you can see, we did get back all the output we expected. And so I am just going to click on publish now to go ahead and publish this Zap. Okay, and it says my Zap is now live. I'm just going to close this. And let's see here. Now we can actually run it for real. Let's check the Zap runs. There are no runs for this one, but I believe we should be able to trigger it now with the Zapier Chrome extension. Let's see what happens. And here is my Zap now showing up in the Zapier Chrome extension. I forgot to actually name this properly, so I am just going to rename it to use URL to text, something like that. Obviously, you can probably think of a better name for whatever your Zap is. Now I'm just going to go back. And let's attempt to use the Zapier Chrome extension again to trigger this. Remember, I'm just doing this because I want to trigger this. Obviously, your trigger would be something else. I'm going to click send. This will instantly alert Zapier that we want to trigger this zap. Now I'm going to go back to my zaps and let's click on the one we just renamed. And now let's go and get the history of this zap. And there it is. There is the successful run of the zap that I just performed. But this is how easy it is to use URL-to-text from within Zapier. Now what I'm going to do before I forget is just regenerate this API key. I don't believe we actually ever showed it on screen, but you just always want to be careful with your API keys. So now this zap will no longer work. But that is it. I think you get the point here. This is how easy it is to use URL-to-text from within Zapier. As always, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to reach out. You can leave a comment on this video if you're watching this video, or you can reach out to us at support@urltotext.com.